All right, this one is pretty special to me. In this unit, we're talking about the music of Trinidad and Tobago. And I figure I'll just go ahead and make it personal because for me, it definitely is personal. Um, I went to school at Wichita State and I got a degree in classical percussion, but I'm really just a drummer, drum set player, like that instrument back there. But while I was there, I got involved with a group um, that played steel drums, steel pans. And through that experience, I was able to meet a really special person. His name is Ellie Manette. And he was traveling around the country at that time, building and tuning steel drums for schools all over the country. This is the mid 1980s. When I met him, I didn't know how to play a steel pan, but he brought a set with him, very much like the set that you see here. And when I heard it, I just said, I have to have that. I have to, I need that. So I ordered a set. I gave him like $2,000 and waited, and he built me a beautiful set of drums. So that's how I came to play this instrument. But there's some other information that goes along with this, a little bit of history about this man, Elie Manette, that I want to share with you. So after meeting him and after learning about steel pans, I got involved in the music and I started to learn more and more about where it comes from. And so we're talking about the islands of Trinidad and Tobago, which are the southernmost islands in the Caribbean chain, just about 7 miles off the coast of Venezuela. And they have a history of, colonial rule from the British. And it wasn't even until the 1960s that they really fully got their independence as a nation. And deeper in history, there were periods of time where people, slaves who were brought there to harvest sugarcane and amongst other things, they were controlled by the British rule, and they weren't allowed to make the music in the way that they were accustomed to. We're talking about people coming from West Africa. Of course, this is going on in Brazil and throughout the Caribbean and obviously in the United States, right? So there's a history of adapting and making music with whatever was available. And the first incarnation of that was something called tambu bamboo, where they took bamboo poles, cut them to different lengths, and either beat them on the ground or you put it on your shoulder and you could hit it with a stick and you play different rhythms. And they had competitions with these groups where they would compete with each other musically. And that got extremely, almost out of hand to the point where they were like using the bamboo poles as weapons. And so that was outlawed by the government. And so was drumming on any kind of a drum with a skin. So if we kind of move our way up to the late 1930s, mid 1940s, and this is the time when Elie Manette was just a teenager, and they didn't have a lot to work with, but they figured out that if you took a 35-gallon galvanized drum and you kind of took a broomstick handle and punched out the top, it would make this bubble, and you could play rhythms on it. And then if you put a crease down the middle of the bubble, one side would be high and one side would be low. And Ellie thought, well, I can take that same idea with a larger drum, a 55-gallon oil drum, steel drum, and maybe I can isolate even more notes. So that's what he did. So he worked on a drum every day after school in a place called the Oval, which was a track, a little soccer field, and he had a drum hidden there underneath the bleachers, and he would work on it every day. And he finally tuned up about 14 notes on this verse drum. It was just one 55-gallon oil drum. And he called that drum the Barracuda, and it became an overnight sensation. He went to a music competition in nearby town a music competition and won, and everybody freaked out. What is this new instrument that Ellie has made? And that was kind of the birth, of tuning notes on a 55-gallon drum. So from that point, he developed other instruments, what we call double seconds, which is the instrument that I have here. This is the instrument that I know the best. And now we've got a whole bunch of notes. And I just want to point out that this is the newest acoustic instrument in the world. It's a fully chromatic. I can play in all of the keys, like C major, C sharp, right? So all of the notes are there, just like a piano. And his invention, along with others, completely changed the world of music, and particularly in Trinidad. So a couple other things are going to converge here. Historically, musically, there's a type of music called calypso, which is a derivative of something called kaiso. And this is music that is sung, but always has a message associated with it, either a political message or, some kind of hidden meaning, that sort of double meaning to the words. And calypso singers, calypsonians, would compete with each other during Carnival, which is a celebration that happens throughout the Caribbean, South America, tied to the season of Lent. And these calypso competitions extrapolated out to the pan, and pan bands started to compete with each other in an event called Panorama. And that became, and still is, really the biggest musical event that's taking place in Trinidad. And it's incredible. They have really large bands, 60, 80, 120 people, all playing steel pans together, playing all of the ranges of the drum, the lead pan, the double tenors, double seconds, guitar cellos, tenor bass, six bass, and even nine bass, which is 9 full-size 55-gallon oil drums. And they have a 10-minute time limit, and they play these incredible arrangements, and I've posted one of these, and what you see is a group called Solo Pan Nights playing a tune called Picture on My Wall by Robbie Greenwich. And I'm actually in that video if you look really carefully. I was in the front line, which is an honorable place to be, but kind of hidden behind the second row of pan players. But I was there in 2000 and played for Panorama, and had that incredible experience. So that's where it comes from, and I want to start with that, and just kind of give you an idea about Elie Minette, his contribution to the instrument, to the art form, and this incredible instrument that I'm so grateful to be able to play. So just wanted to give you that little overview, and I've posted some other videos for you to check out, and I hope you enjoy this unit. Thank you.